We're going to do a chapter at a time, and then we're going to do discussion. The 5 Steps of Global Liberation by Daisy the Venice Healer, aka We Did It Ourselves. This is the first edition. Table of Continents. Chapter 1, Step 1. We acknowledge domination systems hurt us, that we never gave our consent, and are no longer available to participate in life withholding strategies to meet needs. Step 2. In the space of not knowing, we turn our will and our life over to God, love, and nature. Chapter 3, Step 3. We are ready for needs-based fellowships to replace market economy. You are not a worker or for sale anymore. Find your meaning and purpose. Chapter 4, Step 4. Having found your meaning and purpose, you know you are not alone. Gather your soul tribe. Chapter 5, Step 5. We are not free unless all are free. Carry the message to liberate the whole entire planet, leaving nowhere unliberated. The Great Global Liberation, New Human, New Heart, Earth. That's Chapter 6. Okay? Okay. Des, what's up? I'm going to read my book now, okay? We're going to first, this is called the Preface. As we exit the age of industry and enter the age of information, our cultural narrative. You guys want to read along with me? Our cultural narrative of our ancestors and even our recent past is no longer fitting the level of consciousness that humanity has risen to. The age of industry tells us that in order to do well, we must be productive, listen to the authorities, do what society wants us to do, even if it means foregoing basic universal needs such as rest, renewal, interdependence in relationships, community, play, and many other needs that impact our mental and physical health. We are missing out on life, biodiversity, watering holes, and our beloved plant and animal friends because the age of industry constantly tells us to pay attention to how we are being graded or how much productivity or how much income we are earning. We lost our way and now we are suffering. Domination systems are needed in order to keep people working in the age of industry. Domination means market economy and government are controlling us and commanding us. Domination systems use scarcity by withholding all of our universal needs so that the world emerges with everyone scattering and stressed out about meeting their needs. A world like this operates in separation where all of the same age child are put together and all of the same skill set adults are put together and all of the same animals are put together and all of the same plants are put together. And here we have businesses, schools, farms, and industries, all the same, all the same together, and everyone is bored and suffering as we live in a world that communicates using evaluating what is good or bad and right or wrong, talking about what we think, strategizing to figure out what we will do about it, commanding and controlling others using coercion, and then using threats, demands, punishments, and rewards to get people to give out of fear, guilt, shame, or some other coercive means. This type of consciousness is known as our sympathetic nervous system, which is typically reserved for fight, flight, fawn, freeze, and F, the 5 Fs. Our sympathetic nervous system. That is why our culture is all about violence and sex and ghosting people and outcasting people and having a revolving door of people who you used to know And now you don't know anymore. A world of either only taking care of your needs or not considering or foregoing certain needs in order to meet the needs of others. Domination systems, because they emerge in scarcity and operate in separation, make us feel powerless and make us feel hopeless and sad and lonely, and sometimes may even make us believe that we are some term someone said about us, such as loser. This is one of the many made-up labels domination systems created. These are the lies that we believe, along with all of the other evaluations and cultural narratives that we are told and programmed with. In this world, instead of children and babies having many caregivers for every one child, domination systems create a world where just one caregiver is responsible for the needs of many children or babies. In this world, we believe in also separating animals and create false, harmful roles like pets or working animals or testing animals or farm animals. This is another form of separation. We all feel the underlying hum of suffering our out of balance world is experiencing. Feel harmony, spiritual joy, and ecstasy, superhero, because the three wounds of domination systems create separation, scarcity, and our meaning and purpose being withheld. Now come to a glorious Loveolution ending. See, some of it's happy, you guys. Now that we are entering the age of information, we get to wake up. We get to wake up that we are not the evaluations of others and what they think is good or bad about us, or right or wrong about us. We are not the labels or grades or titles, anything else anyone has ever said that we are. We are superheroes with gifts and talents that are meant to be nurtured and practiced with others who have similar gifts and talents. Our gifts and talents, along with our trauma and our life experience, will shape our meaning and purpose. Our meaning and purpose is our heart's desire of the incredible positive change we are meant to bring. This is the third wound of domination systems. Our meaning and purpose, scarcity, and separation are the three wounds of domination systems, and they keep us powerless and easy to command and control. Now we are wise, and now we are conscious, and now we rise above old programming, old stories, and old cultural narratives which no longer fit and no longer suit us, and we don't consent and are not available for anymore because we never once even gave our consent to this world. Those who created this world have been dead for a very long time, and they're looking back at the world now, either reincarnated in spirit form or in spirit form, wanting exactly what we all want. We want, and all of life is wanting, for humanity to take their natural place as the gods and goddesses, here to meet the needs of the whole entire planet, co-worshipping all of life, acknowledging the symbiotic relationship with the whole entire planet and cosmos. Think about it. If you were an alien from another planet, you would never want to interact with humans the way we are. You would not allow the humans to visit your planet, and you would not want to go out in their world to openly interact with humans because you would be afraid. Yeah. Okay, you guys, I lost my place, so just stay with me for a second. You would see the way humans treat each other By categorizing and labeling each other, raising votes and money in order to put special interests, industries, and the rich, governors, and leaders in charge so that enforcers can be used to command and control everyone. Then, rules and laws would be used to punish, shame, and guilt everyone, and the whole planet would have resources divided in a way that created chaos, scarcity, death, and destruction. As a higher conscious being, you would want the humans to understand what you understand, that it is better to share our planet and be a part of all of life than it is to live under lies, like we can own the planet, and lies like we can own life. We cannot own life, and we cannot own the planet. Therefore, we must live our truth, which means we belong to the planet and we belong to life. Therefore, we must care for all of life on the planet and our planet because she is our great big mama. Caring for all of life means that needs-based systems meet our needs, not government or industry. We acknowledge that when we allow government and industry to meet our needs, we lose balance and destroy all life around us. And then we create merit-based systems, and those hurt us. We know and now commit. Oh, I gotta put this on the book because this is an important part. Actually, okay, you guys, this is the important part, okay? We know and now commit to become caring and our way of being beneficial to all of life. This means that we raise willingness and capacities instead of votes and money. It means no borders or owning because we share and belong to all of life. No commanding or controlling because we honor and acknowledge the autonomy of all beings. No more pesticides, traps, prisons, or weapons of mass destruction. Instead, all information and technologies will be free for all to use the most love and care and the least force and control. Instead of prisons, there will be the most amount of freedom, the least amount of force and resistance, and the most amount of healing and integration. The reason we trust so deeply in the process is because instead of being told we must make decisions on our own or listen to authorities, we learn that we are a group conscious mind collaborating to make decisions that best benefit the whole entire planet and cosmos. Seeing our body as being just as divine as Earth's body and all of creation, we rise with trust, truth, and transparency and come together in loving, healing, and integrating instead of separating, punishing, and rewarding. This new world emerges the moment we say it does. And a spiritual awakening, the gathering of the tribes, and incredible positive change begins. And I'm serious. That's the preface of my book. Okay, now it's chapter 1, but I'm not going to read it yet. I'll do it on another one. I want to talk about my book. So if you guys have any questions, the 5 Steps of Global Liberation, please put it in the chat. And that's true. Smoking Needbased. I was born very rich and privileged. Now I don't even touch money. If I need something, I don't even think in terms of money. I think in terms of my community. Last night, I had to go home with no medicine. You guys want to know how I got antibiotics? 2 of my friends ended up having antibiotics. So my friend Mary last night drove antibiotics to me. And then I get this text from my friend Fifi. Look what she's got. She goes, I have the medicine that treats that. See? She goes, oh, I got that medicine. That's what the universe does for me. Because I told my friends what was going on. I'm in pain. All of a sudden, my friends have the medicine. So this is Fifi. Hey, goddess, I never ended up getting the medicine, period. Mary brought over just 3 pills. So I still need the medication, period. Come to the beach and let's hang out. You can bring the medicine with you and I'll show you my flow strokes body work at the beach. Period. I love our beautiful interdependent relationship that has just only started, Goddess Queen Fifi. So, urinary tract infections require antibiotics, and I couldn't get it from hospitals. I couldn't get it through the industry because poor people have an incredible amount of, and it's not bartering, Sierra. This is not bartering. I don't give anything. Since I have a need, and me offering body work, I'm not doing that because she's giving me pills. I would do that anyway. And I don't expect anything back. And I would have no problem taking the pills and not doing anything in return for it. Because I don't ever do anything for exchange. I do not. Yeah, Sierra, we don't do barter. No, we don't. Because need-based system, that's still merit-based systems. We don't want merit. Merit means I get my needs met because I can pay for it. I get my needs met because I can get you to like me. I get my needs met because I make you afraid of me. I get my needs met because if I don't, I'm going to make you regret it. You're going to feel... We don't want that. We don't want that. Okay? We do not want that. It hurts us. It hurts us. It might get our needs met, but it hurts us. I would rather go with my needs not getting met. I would rather that. I will never sell it again. You know, I had a girlfriend of mine text me today. Thank you. Sierra says, I completely agree. And this rainbow goddess says, we need heart-based ways. That's right. I'm in conversation with you guys. So I'm looking at the chat now. Okay. And no, we don't do anything for anything else, Mr. User 82383. No, it's not this for that. I do flow strokes because I want to. Emily has a good question. Where do you live? Do you pay rent? I have been chronically homeless. My housing has been insecure for the past 5 years. Last month, I received my government apartment. So I get $220 a month general relief. So I get a card. And the way that I don't touch money, the way that I use this card and it's in alignment with my values is I look at this as reprieve from my community, that my community wants me to have this card. My community wants me to have my government housing, which it comes out of this card. I get $220 for general relief and $280 for food. So I pay $56 a month in rent. It comes out of that $220. And I have a friend, Jack, and some other people, Mary. I have other friends who I'm interdependent with. I have friends who help to take care of my needs. I've never actually met this person, Jack. He's one of my followers, and I have other friends. He's pretty much the only male follower who I will communicate with. I only allow women to reach out to me. However, Jack has a really beautiful story. I met him while I was married to my ex-husband, so I didn't feel threatened by him. He's very sweet, and his story includes a tragic death of a wonderful person who was very, very special. And he has a very moving story that I will allow him to tell. However, I do not, even with Jack, like our communication is very minimum. I communicate only with the women. Men, if you're reaching out to me, as far as I'm concerned, you're creeping on me. You're being a creeper, and I don't like it, all right? Because I've said many times, I don't want to talk to you. Don't want to talk to the men. I'm here to communicate with the women. Men, I think that you're going to benefit from my work. Like, please come and witness me. This is part of my trauma. Since I was a toddler, I had to question every touch. And I grew up with a family pedophile. My grandfather was sexually assaulting toddlers. My 3-year-old was cousin and me, and it was bad. So I was called a liar when I told my mother. And I didn't even tell her till I was 13. He sexually assaulted my best friend when I was 13. My grandfather did. And then I finally had the courage to tell my mom because I listened to her calling all the girls liars. So I knew better than to tell her. But I felt like she would believe me because it just happened to my friend the same day. So I told her that day. She called me a liar. And it made me feel incredible shame. And I continued to get molested for another 3 years till I was 16 and I was old enough to say no. Stop. And, yeah. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Brooks. Brooks says, she doesn't want y'all hitting on her. It's simple. Exactly. Brenda says, I went through the same thing. Yeah. That's right. So men, you guys are fine. We all have our trauma, so we want to be trauma informed. It's not that I got something against men. That would not be very nice to my children who are males. And I like to be called Mama Lindsay on the internet because I think a lot of you benefit from me because it reparents your child. That's my intention. My intention is to have you fall so incredibly deeply in love with yourself. That's why I wrote my book, The 5 Steps of Global Liberation, that you will never sell out ever again. That you will never sell your gifts and talents, that you will share them. And that you will work on relationships, personal development, and creativity. That's the triangle. You want to have your meaning and purpose, your relationships, and your personal development. Don't do anything else. Don't listen to the government. Don't listen to the market economy. That's all crumbling. It's all old school. We're with the new human, new earth. We don't do things the old way. No, we blast off. That's what my book says. I get free groceries every day of the week. I can get groceries from places like Whole Foods, Bristol Farms, the best expensive grocery stores where all of the rich yuppies like me used to shop and have $300-400 grocery carts. I get all that stuff for free now. It turns out, now that I don't use money, and now that I'm not rich, I don't need that much. Like, I have my green juice in the morning. I eat 1 time a day, and there's usually 1 or 2 days a week when my body says, we don't want to eat today. I fast. I smoke into best. That's a good question. So you don't want to listen to the government, but you're getting government help and welfare. That's right. Don't listen to the government. Don't give any of your energy, but take as much as you can from it and drain it. We're trying to crumble and dissolve these old systems, smoke into best. And if all of the politicians were smoke into best, they would agree. But because they are not benefiting either, they are also in the hum of suffering. And the top 1%, they don't like it either. They do not like it. They are suffering. The top 1%. Oh, and Amber wants to know why I'm not living at the beach. No, I'm not, goddess. I got an apartment. $56 a month. You guys, people who put stuff like that in the chat, if you guys already know the answer, could you help them out? Yeah, Amber, thank you. MK wants to know, how do you stay so positive? I stay very positive because I know that the most important thing is if I start to turn on myself, I give myself love. If I start to turn on others, I give them love. And I know that you want to know what I used to have to do? So I love my mom. My mom's a golden unicorn. She's the most mystical queen in the world. I love her so much. I used to have visions of physical violence to her, and I used to hate her guts. I used to think that she was the source of my pain, and I would blame her, and I would think about what was wrong with her, and I would get really angry, and I would feel indignation and violence, and I would get so upset as the result of my unnatural thinking. And then I just started to think about what's happening in my mom. Just remember the 3 vocabulary lists. What's happening in my mom's body, what's happening in her biofield, what's happening in her feelings, in her needs. And what I was able to identify, so not only do you do that, because that builds empathy, but you have to do what I call love meditations. Oh, yes. So picture your mom and you hate her, just like I did. And there she is with her hair glowing all around her. Her hair's so fluffy. Ah, and there's golden sunlight draping around her skin, while a beautiful halo glows above her head. And you can see and feel her in ecstasy. That's a love meditation. So you take whoever you hate and you want incredible violence and suffering to go to, and then you just put them in a lovesicle, a love-a-dove-a-doodle, and do a love meditation. Start to think about when they were a little baby, and then put that little baby in your heart. And then think about when they were a little toddler. And think about like the kind of stuff that happened to them that made them so terrible and made you want to hate them so much because they're so horrible and destructive. Start to think about the kind of stuff that happened to them. And you'll see they're a love. Look, Tanya says, be my love-a-doodle. They'll turn into a love-a-doodle. That's a good one. I'm going to use that. A love-a-doodle. And they will go from a to a love-a-doodle. And of course you feel violence. This is pretty funny, Tanya. Everyone say love-a-doodle, and if you don't laugh, then you win. A tickle, tickle, tickle. Just kidding. You get a tickle torture if you don't laugh. A tickle, tickle, tickle. So this is what I would do. I would also do it with my social worker. And I would do it with myself. And my self-talk started to change. Little animals and babies and kids started to come up to me. And also people who were angry in my presence, they would become soft. And people who were violent or scary, like, you know, like some people enemy image homeless people. It's people like that who might be experiencing a lot of scarcity or trauma. People like that soften around people like us. And when you start to radiate love and radiate warmth, you bring harmony everywhere you go. This is a practice that in the beginning takes work and dedication, and then it just becomes a part of you. And you cultivate the beautiful elixirs that are released from your pituitary gland. You could literally roll your eyes in the back of your head and tuck your chin and feel the pressure that you create in your brain. Because when you roll your eyes back, they're called the eye scumanus. And the eye scumanus, they're like these long rods, and they go from your eyeball into your brain. Have you ever seen an eyeball pop out? How it's connected to like it's called a scumanu. So the eyeball scumanu, when you roll the eyeballs back, the scumanu milks the pituitary gland. It is a technique that hypnotherapists use. A hypnotherapist will ask you to close your eyes and roll them in the back of your head and act like you are in your mind walking downstairs. And that the feeling of rolling your eyes back in combination with visualizing going down into stairs will take you into a deep state of hopefully delta or gamma brainwaves, so you could be really suggestible. And even alpha and theta brainwaves, you could reprogram someone. This is the state that we're looking for. So when hypnotherapists pull us into that state, we feel so good. We can reprogram. We become super learning. What if we're supposed to feel like that all the time? So that's what radiating warmth and love and the glory and power of our love is so mystical that it dupa-scoobs. It's like a boop on the nose of everyone. And then someone's experience of someone may be very non-enhancing. Your experience of that one will be way more enhancing. And then you will be life enriching. So everything that comes, you respond to it with a language of love. So you're constantly upgrading the program around you so that others learn your program. Then when they respond to you again, they already know the program of love. And I just had a friend who was spewing insults and put downs and cuss words. And at first I wasn't even reading the messages because they were so toxic. And then I read one online And then I went back and read a couple more. They were all the same, all cuss words, put downs. And it didn't impact me the way that it would, like, because it was intended to be a character assassination. It didn't impact my character. But what it did was it struck my heart. And I felt pain. And I didn't feel shame. It was different. When this person was attacking me, I felt sad and I felt hurt. And it was not about me. I was hurting because my friend was hurting. And that was it. I was not hurting because of what they said to me. No. I know that they didn't mean that. I know that they don't mean those things. I know that this is not normally how this person talks. I didn't recognize the language patterns of this other person. And it sounded a lot like how I used to talk to people. It sounded a lot like how I used to attack others and turn on them. And because of that, I was able to look at myself and say, oh yeah, like this person is pushing me away just like I used to push people away. And I mourned it. I cried. I even got sick. I got a urinary tract infection right after this person attacked me because I love her. I care about her a lot. And I have another friend, Queen of Everything and Queen of Gardens and Animals Cute. No matter what they say about me, I will only talk about how wonderful and loving and sweet they are. And then these other parts of them that attack me, they're letting me know that they're hurt. Both of them are hurt for the same reason, because I needed to take a little space for myself. And if we need to take space, the reason I had to take space was because of this kind of attacking language. And I was asking for more heart-opened, vulnerable communication about what will help in terms of these attacks that I have to field. And my request was like, I don't expect you to do the work on your own. Do you think you could maybe call an empathy buddy and just debrief before you call me, so that way I don't have to open my phone to these text messages which are impacting my spirit and my peace and my harmony? I don't want that. I would rather have conscious communication because I know it's possible. And we can invite others in, but it doesn't mean that they could do it. So if they're hurting us and it's past our capacity, we have to ask for space. So these two goddesses were hurting me. And I get really tender when I talk about it. It was hurting me. It made me get sick. I got sick after this. And it's because I love them deeply. And because I love so deeply, I allow myself to feel pain. I allow myself to get hurt. And I can express that pain, the impact of it, that this hurts me. I'm not only hurt because of what's happening, I'm hurt because you are hurting. And it hurts me that you are hurting, because I care about that. I let them know all about my pain and how much I care. And that's my truth. That's how I release and how I process while I go through it. I don't have to save it for later to process. I can process here, and I can feel my feelings, and I become more beautiful and more loving when I do. I get more gorgeous, it's true. We start to not be as beautiful when our thinking gets all blackalad. So we want to doobascoob it. A doobascoob is so much more wonderful. And these friends who are attacking me, they're no different than my mom, or my sister, or my kids, or anyone else who I love, my brother. I love them. The last thing I'm going to do is enemy image them, because that's not where the solution is. And I don't want to suffer. And I want to ease their suffering as much as I can. I can't do much about their suffering, except for how I respond. So that's what I do. And I make sure that my side of the street is clean. See, I made a comment to my friend, Goddess Jennifer Nana, Queen of Animals, Cute, and Gardens. I said that, she should be careful because, you push relationships away. Some of her relationships, like she has a husband. He is responsible for her shelter and her food. So We need to learn how to do this work, because if she's doing this to me, she's doing it to the one who's responsible for shelter and food. That might have been a little too much of a misstep for me to talk about her husband that way, but my intention was to say, if you're doing it to me, you're doing it to them. So let's work on it together, and our relationship will get better, and your relationship with your husband will get better. But the way that I said it was, I was talking about her, and that can be triggering for someone. It can trigger them in a way that they get defensive, or they might want to counterattack. So I wish I didn't say that. I wish I said instead, I know that if I do my work here with you, Goddess, and I know that if we have our container where we learn and grow, that it will positively impact my relationships and our relationships with all of those who we do this work together with, that it will ripple so that my family members and everyone else benefits. You know, I didn't have to talk about her husband in a situation where, even though the intention was to not trigger, the intention was to bring truth and love and light, the intention, if it's not skillful, cannot be as intentional. So we want a skillful intention. And because anyway, what's coming up for you guys? I'm looking at the comments. Does anyone have any questions on this? Thea says, you helped me to stop ripping my brush through my hair. A little as lame as it sounds, no one taught me. Yeah. We want to be really gentle. Do you want to know why? Because when we were a kid, someone just ripped a brush through our hair. They were not gentle and loving. Also, when we were a kid, we never thought to put things like bentonite clay on our roots and coconut oil on our hair. And instead we bought these products that we didn't know about sulfites hurting us, and how the first ingredient is alcohol, and it's actually moisturizing but drying us out. We never knew all this stuff. So we got to learn it for ourselves. I pretty much use coconut oil for everything and shea butter for everything. I was a very, very rich, privileged woman. I had live-in help. People who lived with me when I was a child. When I had children, I had live-in help. I never once did a dish until 7 years ago. I had housekeepers from the moment I left my house when I was a young adult. And I've always been rich and very privileged. And I mean top 1%. I was a millionaire since I was 22. I bought 4 houses, 4 properties by the time I was 22. I had Oxford homes. I was a very successful businesswoman since a young age, becoming a millionaire. And when I lost my kids, I had tons of passive income. I was receiving close to $50,000 a month, none of which I paid taxes for ever. I never once paid taxes. And I was also a sugar baby. So there's women out there who I want to talk to you. One of the things that I don't talk about enough, market economy makes men and women exploit even their bodies. And many times when we need money, women will just date a guy because of their money. Kate says, you're always at your apartment now and never at your boyfriend's. So typically I like going to, I call it the dojo. I like going to my place and I like going to his place. I'm here at his place because I'm not feeling well. Otherwise I would be at my place. So I wanted to tell you guys something else. What did I want to tell you? Oh yeah. Okay. I have girlfriends tell me all the time that they do things like pay for play. And I have men at the beach say all the time that, they'll be gay if there's money involved, that they're not gay unless they're getting paid. And the world that we live in is so upside down and crazy. I need us to take it in that this is being normalized. I want us to take that in. This is being normalized. And we want global liberation, Fiamma. Please do not bomb my chat, you guys. I'm looking at the chat, so you don't have to put it a bunch. And also, we're doing global liberation. We don't overcome. Have I overcome? Okay, there's 5 steps of global liberation. There's 12 steps in the 12-step program. So the 12-step program is similar to the 5-step program. This 12-step program, step 1 is about honesty. We acknowledge that the jig is up, our lives are unmanageable, everything sucks, we're powerless over whatever it is. And then in the 5 steps of global liberation, we're powerless over domination, government, and market economy. We're never going to win, and we don't like it. Bye. So 12 steps can be for anything. It could be food, any kind of thing that you do for addiction. So 12 steps and 5 steps are the same in the way they open and close it. So they open it with honesty, and then they close it with service. But the way global liberation is different. Global liberation, we use force and control with the most love and care to make sure that the whole entire planet is liberated, because any area that we do not liberate will come back and try to take us over, because that is the nature of domination. So we must liberate the whole entire planet. The 12th step of the 12-step program is different from global liberation, because it says that you do it based off attraction and not promotion, that you do not use force or control. We're going to have a Loveolution, and we are going to force the world to be liberated. Like a mother who's had enough of her kids fighting and making a big mess. We are going to act on behalf of Mother Earth and all of the world. And we are going to stop domination systems. Market economy married to government equals a domination system. We're going to stop it, because there's vulnerable, like plants and animals and microorganisms. Our oceans are turning to acid. Our oxygen is being depleted at an alarming rate. We are down to 20% oxygen and 80% nitrogen. It used to be closer to 60-70% oxygen. Imagine what it would be like to breathe in air that was triple or quadruple oxygenated. Imagine what it would be like to step into watering holes that leave your skin flouncy and flawless and your hair silky smooth and bouncy bodacious. This is our new reality. The 5 steps of global liberation involves a lot of the same thing the 12 steps does. The 12 steps is like, keep working it, you're worth it, keep coming back, and also like you need to work a program or you're going to be a dry drunk. And 5 steps of global liberation is different, because it says that if we were living in our nature, we wouldn't need the 12 steps. We wouldn't need a program. If we were living in balance and in our nature, we also wouldn't need jails and prisons and punishment. We wouldn't need things. So the 12 steps is because we act inward and hurt ourselves. Jails and prisons is because we act outward and hurt others outside of us. So the 5 steps of global liberation says that we wouldn't need jails and prisons, and we wouldn't need 12 steps. That's what the 5 steps of global liberation says, if we were liberated. And the 12 steps says, you make amends, and you are in living amends, and you take a personal inventory, and you share it with another, and you talk to God, and you get a higher power. And you also are in service. You make sure to help others, and you make your amends. You become real. The 5 steps of global liberation doesn't even mess around with any of that, because the 5 steps of global liberation already knows that when we're in our nature, we do all of that. And the 5 steps of global liberation is just, instead of only turning it over to God, we turn it over to love, God, and nature, because God's voice is inside, God's voice is outside, and that is called nature. And then if we don't calibrate to love, the most love and care, then it'll be flip-flopped again, the most force and control. And we don't want that. We want love, God, and nature. So it's the most love and care and the least force and control, not the most force and control and the least love and care, the way that market economy and industry is run now, based off merit. And it's important that I tell you that I'm rich, Kate Jones. It is very important, because I need you guys to know that I'm coming from privilege. That's why. If you guys know that I'm coming from privilege, then you know there's a reason for why I'm saying this. Because if you know about the lure of market economy, there is a lure to it. So I'm trying to let you guys know that as someone who's won, it's not that good. When you win, you feel more shitty than when you're not doing the market economy at all. It is a lonely place at the top. That's why. It does seem braggy, Kate Jones. It does. I'm a little bit narcissistic. So some people are right in the middle. Some people lean a little narcissistic. Other people lean a little anxious, preoccupied. I'm a little narcissistic. And I love myself a lot. And I have kind of a big ego. And I like to talk good about myself. And I like to build myself up a lot. And I love to love myself. And I also love to love everyone else and build everyone else up. And if it seems that way, it's true. So thank you for pointing that out, Goddess. You are absolutely right. And I'm still lovable, no matter what, just like you. It's important that you guys know there's a lure, like the top 1%. The lure is that once you win, you don't have to worry about money, that you will just have all the resources you need. You will be able to get whatever intimate partner you want. You will be able to have whatever place, go wherever you want, have all of the health. You will be able to even pay for love, right? So that's the lure of market economy. And I do talk about myself, kind of, you know how like Donald Trump always like, oh, I'm the best, yeah. That's why I seem to like Donald Trump so much. I'm not even into politics. I tend to flock to the more narcissistic world leaders like Kim Jong-un. You know, Kim Jong-un has everyone chase him and cry when he leaves. Could you imagine? And it's so cute. He's like, oh yes, come, chase after me. So, I have a thing for the narcissistic. That happens to be my attachment style, more disorganized. And we want to know what our attachment style is because we want to aim for securely attached. So now I consider myself to be securely attached. However, if you take away my resources and my needs and put me in a situation that's really difficult with very triggering stimulus, then I may not be securely attached. I will go to one of these other attachment styles: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and then the other F is how we exploit each other's bodies. And Caitlin says, a lot of people have narcissistic trait that doesn't make you narcissistic. Thank you, Goddess. So this is what I love about Kate Jones says, yikes, narcissistic people are not lovable. Kate, I'm so happy to be in conversation with you, Goddess. Yes, they are the most lovable of all. So there's a reason why people are narcissistic. People who are narcissistic, typically, were told that their love needed to be earned. People who are narcissistic were typically constantly told what they were doing wrong, what they needed to improve, and typically they had really icy parents who never ever gave them affection or love. They probably slept in a room all by themselves, had parents who, you know, like, were not able to tune into what they were feeling and needing. So narcissistic people come from a special type of abuse, and we are all lovable, and we all need to love each other. So Kate Jones says, yes, and Daisy likes to lie all day. So here's the thing about lying, to lie all day. So here's the thing about lying, Kate Jones. Is partially an assumption because in order to lie, the person has to know that they are lying. So if a person knows that they're lying, then it's a lie. But if a person says something and they believe it's the truth, but it's not the truth, I think that's what might be happening for you, Kate, because I don't lie. I only speak my truth. I think that you don't agree with my truth. And I think that because you believe the opposite of what I'm saying, that you're labeling it as a lie. That's what I think is happening, but that's an assumption that I'm making. And what I want to say to you about narcissism, because I'm not done with that yet. Our sympathetic nervous system, Katie, is going to want to label behaviors and then diagnose the person. So whenever we're taking data on somebody and then diagnosing and labeling them, we're actually creating an enemy image, and then that's going to get us further away from that person. So what you saw me doing is you saw me neutralizing enemy images and owning them and taking them as my own and integrating them as part of me, because if I'm in resistance to it, then it's going to persist. And I'm sorry, Kate, she says, don't call me Katie. So do not call her Katie. Call her Kate, everyone. Kate. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to neutralize any type of label or enemy image, and we want to give ourselves empathy when we do that. So if you're perceiving a narcissistic person as being a liability, that's because you've probably been hurt by people who were not able to consider you. Narcissists, I can tell by your big reaction, have been a liability in your world. And even if it hasn't been directly to you, what you've witnessed, others that you deem to be narcissistic, has been non-enhancing. And you are wanting these types of people to care more about others. Because in definition, someone who's narcissistic is not caring about others. So you're really going to bat for that. You would really love to see, Kate, you would love to see others' needs be considered. And if somebody is not able to consider how someone feels and what they need, you would like for them to work on that. And if we label someone as what they're doing wrong, and we take a list of their behaviors and come up with a diagnosis, then that's going to create a buffer between us where we're not going to be able to relate to them in a relational way. Now there's a buffer because you've othered that person. And if you're othering them, of course you're not going to like them because you're going to see them as a threat, and you're going to say things like they're not lovable. They actually are lovable. The most evil, demented, violent people are the most lovable people, and that is actually the biggest call to love. And I want us to say we did it ourselves when we take care of these problems. We need healing and integration. Kate, I really love your bravery. I like how you advocate for the treatment of others. Kate, I love how you want people to care, and you are questioning the lovability of those who don't care. It makes total sense. But if we want to heal and create a better world, we have to go against that programming, because that's actually not your nature, Kate. Your nature is to heal and integrate. And the way we do that is if you perceive something outside of you as being bad, and you're like, oh, this is and let's use another label besides the N-word. Let's use the label like, this person's stinky, right? I would much rather them smell better. They're so stinky. Like, ugh, that's what's wrong with them. They are just so stinky. So we want to take that label, and we're enemy imaging this person like, I can't be friends with them. They're too stinky. Well, let's look at ourselves. I can remember the last time when I was stinky. And you want to know something? To the degree of stinkiness, I could tell you how I am stinky. There's ways that I'm stinky. And if I'm perceiving stinkiness outside of myself, it's because there's stinkiness inside of myself too. And that's what's cool about this practice. If we, just like with my friends blowing up at me and sending me these hostile messages, I can look at myself and say, okay, well, how do I blow up at others? And how am I hostile with others? And when do I label and criticize and name call? And I can find it in myself. I know that there's situations when I'm walking by and a man decides to catcall me. I get really deeply triggered because that goes to my childhood trauma that I'm still working with right now. That's going to trigger me. I'm going to start to respond in ways that are going to alienate me from meeting my needs. And life serving responses will meet our needs. Life alienating responses will not meet our needs. Diagnosing, labeling, evaluating, judging, accusing, even strategizing, because strategizing is a unilateral based thinking of making decisions instead of a collaborative group network to think with. And collaboration means that we make decisions together. So if you have a person with a label, and we're not going to say narcissistic again, we're going to say, like, let's say we have someone who will take a target behavior. Let's say we have someone who hangs up the phone on you. We're going to take that target behavior, and there could be like 20 behaviors where then you're like, oh, this person is a borderline personality, or they're bipolar. Well, just take the target behaviors. That's what that person's working on. Now all of a sudden you have a learning and growth mindset. Instead of you're labeling this person, telling them what's wrong, whatever you resist is going to persist. They're going to keep doing it. So that is how we respond to it. That's how we heal it and integrate it. Kate, are you still here? Do you want to be in conversation with me, Goddess? She says she is here. Good. Hello, Goddess. Thank you for staying and being in conversation. I honor you, Queen. And thank you for correcting me on the pronunciation of your name. Kate is here. And I just want to make sure I saw all her messages. I was going through just looking for Kate. Kate says, you love them so you can say you loved someone unlovable. Kate, do you think that I don't love people? And Kate, are you worried that when I say I love everyone, that I don't actually love everyone and I'm just saying that and that's not the truth? Is that what you're saying, Kate? Because if that's the truth, you make sense. Because when somebody's talking to me and I don't think they're being genuine, then yes, she doesn't think I'm being genuine. Thank you. And thank you for your courage in acknowledging me in a space where someone else might feel vulnerable. I want to celebrate your bravery because you're on my chat and you're engaging with me in a way that may be seen as confrontational. So I want to acknowledge and celebrate your bravery because it's comments and subjectivities such as yourself, Divine Queen, that allow me to look at myself and question, like, do I really mean that? Let me think about that. Like, do I really love everyone? Let me think about that. I think I do. Let me think. What if someone's really black-eyed? I think I do. I don't, like, look how sparkly my eyes are, Kate. I really, truly believe everything I say. And I love you too, Kate. You're a little feisty. I like feisty goddesses in my goddess squad. And I have a super squad. Pauline Alexandra says, how much sleep do you get and how much do you recommend? I would say to my body, I love you so much, body. What would you love? And I would ask my body. And I treat my body as a dubascoob, just as my heart. My heart's a dubascoob too. And I talk to my heart pretty regularly. I talk to my lungs pretty regularly. And then every once in a while, I will think of an organ. And I'm like, oh, hello, brain. It's been a little bit. And where I'm getting at, ask your body. Ask your body, like, how much sleep would you like? What's the perfect amount of sleep so you could feel energized and incredible? And then tell yourself, this is what I tell myself, and it's the truth because it's my programming. I have the most amazing sleep every single night. As soon as my head hits the pillows, I'm fast asleep. And I sleep very deeply and incredibly. I have beautiful, amazing dreams where my kids come and visit me. Sometimes they're exciting. And I wake up feeling rested and recharged. I sleep like a baby. My body sometimes will want 10 or 12 hours of sleep, and other times 7 or 8 hours of sleep. And it's the same with food. A lot of the lies we've been told is to have a schedule. And the reason why you have a schedule is so that then you do everything unconsciously. But we don't want to have a schedule. We want to do things consciously. A schedule, it's like, oh, you're going to go to work at 9 and come home at 5 and eat dinner, do your schedule, go to bed. And you're going to have your schedule, and then you're going to have productivity and get everything done. But in a world of flow and spontaneity, and in a world of surprise, we don't have a schedule. We are responding. We are attuning to bodies, co-regulating with nervous systems, and we respond to ourselves and our willingness and capacity while responding to what is outside of us. So it's a beautiful dance of what needs are up, like who needs what, and how can I help, and where is my willingness and capacity, and what needs of mine are up. And in this flow, we are operating together as one. I'm going to end this live stream because it was like almost an hour, and I want to be able to upload this so I can upload the preface of my book with the conversation. So I'm going to end the live stream, and then I will start another one after I take a 5-minute break. So if you guys want to hear my first chapter of my book, The 5 Steps of Global Liberation, I read the preface here, and I'm going to read chapter 1. Okay? I love you. Bye.